one of the first things I want to talk about today is the big news in the sporting world. And I want to start with actually the NFL, which is having its draft right now. I'm actually kind of watching as we podcast live to see if there's anybody that was local that's taken. So far, the only people from Tennessee that we've seen in terms of the state that I can recall so far, I believe it's been T. Higgins. And T. Higgins attended Oak Ridge High School, which we actually lost to them last year in a very close game. They actually pulled out the triple option on us. That was actually really interesting. For those of you that watch American football, one of the things I coach high school football, and we play at the highest level in public schools. And so we play a lot of good teams. And one of the teams that we played last year, in the middle of the season, they broke out a new scheme called the triple option. Really caught us off guard for a little bit and took us kind of all game to adjust, and we ended up losing the game. But anyways, the reason why I'm talking about Oak Ridge High School is because that's actually where T. Higgins, the player from Tennessee that got drafted, and he went to Clemson University, and he ended up getting drafted. And wow, this is awesome. It looks like Jauan Jennings, another local Murfreesboro Blackman High School athlete, just got selected. Blackman High School, I know that's probably a strange name for some people that are not familiar with our area, but like I said, they had an awesome athlete named Jauan Jennings. He dominated us when we played him in 2013, I want to say, in high school. And he actually played quarterback in high school. Now he plays wide receiver. And it looks like he is off the draft board. And let me go ahead and make sure that's the case. But that's actually awesome. When you guys look at the NFL draft, the reason, it looks like Jauan Jennings just got drafted by the San Francisco 49ers. And what's interesting is he actually ran what some people would say is not such a great 40 time, which is basically a straight line 40-yard dash where you try to run as fast as you can. You build acceleration, and then you literally just try to hold it as long as you can until you cross through the 40 yards. But Jauan Jennings ran a really slow 40 time compared to some of the other top receivers, and that's what caused his draft stock to drop all the way to the 7th round. But how awesome is it that he gets to begin his professional career in San Francisco, where they just went to the Super Bowl. And interestingly enough, he actually joins another local Middle Tennessee football player that we played at the same time period, Jalen Hurd, who was phenomenal in high school. Probably one of the top 5, if not top 3 best high school football players I've ever seen in my entire life. In person, obviously. But Jalen Hurd was unbelievable. And he went to Tennessee, University of Tennessee, for football for the first, I think, 2 years of his college career. And then I believe he ended up transferring to Baylor University. There's a lot of stuff behind that story. And I'm not going to get into too much detail. You can go ahead and Google that. But if you guys want us to talk more about Jalen Hurd, I mean, honestly, there's some of the backstory that we kind of got through the pipeline in terms of what kind of went down at Tennessee, and it just seemed like he kind of just got painted as the bad guy, and it doesn't seem like that's the case at all. He's had a fine pro career so far. Unfortunately, he got hurt really early in the season, and so that's kind of why he didn't do too much this past season. He's kind of hurt, injured. So it'll be interesting to see in 2020 as he gets healthy what Jalen Hurd will be able to do. But once again, the cool news is Jauan Jennings, actually from Blackman High School from Middle Tennessee, gets drafted to the same team as Jalen Hurd, who came out of Beach High School, which is actually in Hendersonville, Tennessee, which we actually have some listeners in Hendersonville who might actually be listening to this and saying, oh, yeah, I remember Jalen Hurd. He was amazing. But, yeah, he's actually tremendous, unbelievable. We did everything we could to stop Jalen Hurd in high school, and that guy still ran for 200-plus yards against us. I mean, he is just unbelievable. So when you guys look at the NFL draft, the reason why I wanted to talk about the NFL draft is it's just a really special time in these people's lives where basically you go from being kind of a broke college student in a lot of cases to all of a sudden you're signing a check for millions of dollars and potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars, even if you're a lower round draft pick. But people's lives are changing in the midst of this pandemic, and they're changing in a positive way. And I think that that's something that we wanted to open the show up and talking about, because I think that's pretty cool. You know, I could only imagine what it feels like to be drafted in a professional league, whether it's baseball, whether it's any sport, really, basketball, obviously, football, soccer. You know, there's all sorts of sports that do these kind of drafts, and it's just really cool to see these men and even the women in the family, right, that are just so supportive, and they've been there, you know, in some cases they're their mothers, right, and they've been there the whole time. And it's just really cool to see everybody celebrate and everybody happy, even though we're in the midst of this crazy situation.